fucking name. What's up, guys, gals, and non-binary pals, and welcome back to the stream. We are in Alandressa once more. We have gone tirelessly north from Ironfront to try and find the perpetrators of a senseless murder beheading a leader of business. The team have then headed to Dreidel, spoken to Rumpelstiltskin, and have then uncovered another murder of another leader of business. However, this one with some links to Ruby. Ruby has then gone through efforts to try and resolve problems from the past, but at the same time making a new friend and finding an old one. We now find ourselves at the border wall of the nation of Highfall, where the group have just managed to scale over the wall and, for reasons unknown to me, have then tried to bamboozle some scouts instead of just stealthing their way across a frozen tundra. So we are beginning our session in a fight. This is how I love to start so many sessions these days. Now then, we have got with us Tats, Katie, Shen, and B. Mars should be on the way. Steve might be able to join us later. Steve's stuck at work. How's everybody doing today? You ready for a fight?
Oh, I'm ready for a fight.
Always
I just gotta
ready.
get out of rabbit form first.
Yeah,
guess I
you
have
got to
no
get out of
choice.
rabbit form. Well, here's the good news. I'm prepared for you. Or maybe is that bad news? Who's to say? What I will tell you is that immediately it's going to be Aldrin's turn. And you guys have already lost the element of surprise, so there is no longer the surprise condition on these scouts, because you tried doing 2 spells on them. You tried doing Sleep. No, it was Charm Person and Nather's Mischief, and it didn't work. Sleep worked really well, because the guy fell out of the tower and died from the fall.
Sleep murdered the guy.
Yeah, Sleep worked real good. And speak of the devil and they shall appear. Welcome in, Mars. You are at the top of the initiative order. You are first in line. We'll give you a second to pop in. While you're loading up, how are you feeling? You doing well?
Doing alright. Getting through.
Good stuff, good stuff.
Life be life.
Yeah. We're wedging ourselves into midstream of Tats's subathon right now.
Yeah, let's
I've
go.
got stickers on my face.
Hope it's
I've
going
had
well.
lemon juice.
Had so much lemon juice. Please don't overload yourself with
juice.
acid. Please don't. Please
Why
don't.
are you
I
eating
ate
lemon
something
juice?
too.
It's not going to be good
It's
for you.
part of my incentive.
You
Every
see,
five-
I'm not
Every
doing
5
that.
subs, I take a shot of lemon juice.
Okay,
No,
but
I'm not
trade
doing
out the
that.
lemon juice for something else every so often, so that you're not just having citric acid course through your veins. Like you'll eat your kidneys apart.
You
But
can
at
have
least
heartburn for a week.
at least swap it out for a shot of piss or something, or you know.
Ew.
Or like a spoonful
Yeah,
of
because
mayonnaise.
that's less acidic, right?
Like
Yeah.
a spoonful of mayo.
If
or
you're
something.
hydrated,
Whatever.
if you're hydrated,
yeah.
then yes, it actually is.
I
Thank you very much.
I briefly forgot. I forgot
Absolute
whether
fuck.
it's pneumonia or acid. I'm gonna go crawl in a hole. I don't work in healthcare. Leave me alone.
Fucking science. I fucking had you on the last time you pointed out to me, what was it? Flightless animals, the midges. I fucking found the scientific article and I send it to you in the game. I'm fucking 2 for 2 right now, baby. Just chalk this one up to a win for good old Jackal. Now then,
I just forgot what piss was. I forgot ammonia versus acid. Just leave me alone.
Alright, fair enough.
Just eat a spoonful of mayo or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's icky,
No.
and so people will be like, ew. Just like lemon.
Gio's making me hydrate, but I am in fact drinking a lovely Coke Zero. It's cold to the touch. Coke Zero. For when you need that refreshing taste.
Helps
Not
sometimes calm down. I don't know about a spoonful of mayo.
Mayo is like pure fat. It's like 100% lipids.
Yeah.
Only good for chicken sandwiches.
There is
like-
some
But
acid in
but
there
it's
as well,
not
though, because it's
super
vinegar is an acid.
acidic.
Yeah, vinegar is an acid, but I think it's neutralized by all the fat. Anyway, we're not here to
Yeah.
discuss condiments. Let's fucking go with the fight. Aldrin, your turn up first. You've got 2 scouts on the wall. I've removed the walls so that they don't impede your vision, but
Oh,
they
so
will.
you realized I couldn't see where I was aiming last time.
Yeah, so I've removed them this time so they don't impede your vision over the wall, but the wall does still
Oh.
exist. You just won't be able to, like,
Okay.
walk straight past it.
So I completely missed that guy. Okay. Fun.
You really did, but even so, it still would have been not very effective
fail,
because
yeah,
he
he
failed.
failed anyway.
Yeah, he
Or
succeeded on
or
his
I failed,
check.
he won.
Yeah, the same with the other guy.
Okay.
Yeah, with the charm person from Katie.
Alright, hang on 1 second. I need to grab the ruler.
Mhm.
Math.
Don't forget you can move as well at the start of your
16.
turn if you want.
55. Can we just run?
That's a perfectly valid option if you want to. Yeah.
Alright. Got 40. Alright. Let's see. And what's it? Space to hold it or lock it?
Hold control.
Control.
Yeah, and then click, and then click, and then click for every bit. And then when you're ready to move, you hit spacebar. And it will follow you along the path. There you go.
It wasn't supposed to do this.
It's because you're still on the ruler, you got to go back to the select tool. Or do that, yeah, or do that, or just drag it and press spacebar. So while we all watch Mars figure out the basic mechanics of
Struggle.
this system,
There.
what's everybody else thinking about the whole run idea?
I mean, I'd be down to run away.
Same, although I'm the furthest away.
Ruby
from-
had. Yeah, I mean, Ruby had already run, so.
Yeah, as had,
And has no
as had,
ranged attacks, I've
Victor.
discovered.
Yeah, Victor had left as well. Like both of you had stealthed your way across
Yeah.
the field.
Yeah!
Alright, we're just running that way then.
Okay. Yeah,
what
if you
is
want to
a
run.
rabbit's
Hang on,
Running.
could I do
What's a rabbit's running speed? Oh, let me get a rabbit
Yeah.
out.
It's not
Don't
running,
rub
it's
it out.
hopping.
bonus action? I guess
One.
we'll just do dash. Or can I do? Or wait, do I have bonus dash with this one? No. Do I? No.
There's not actually a rabbit in my compendium. Let me look up online if I can find a stat block for a rabbit.
I mean, if I throw you as a rabbit, it might go quite far.
Why are
Rabbit,
you trying
5e
to launch
creature.
a fluffy creature?
It's
Oh,
got
you just
a
pick 'em up and run with
35 foot running speed and a burrow speed of 5 feet, which means that it can dig, but 5 feet per round. Oh,
I just
someone's saying shit. Who said
yeah,
something?
it's me. I put it in there so I didn't forget.
Oh, all right then. Mars, what are we doing?
Okay.
What are we
trying
doing?
to-
It's
I'm
been like
trying-
10 minutes.
Don't get me started on my mouse right now with this freaking program. And I don't think it's my mouse anymore because I'm using a different mouse. Alright. So,
Are you still on ruler though?
yes, because I'm trying to just keep running for my action.
Okay, so you've taken an action dash.
Yep, action dash because I don't have a bonus action dash.
That's fine. Then Isabel's turn.
Yep.
I would like to back away as quickly as possible too. And I've got 80, I believe, if I use dash.
Yes, I believe so. Yeah, I think you've got additional movement from being a
Okay.
Bob.
20,
Yeah, you do.
40. I can go all the way over here.
Nice. Okay,
I'm not going to bother raging because I'm trying to get out of fighting.
fair enough. Fair enough. The 2 scouts are now having their turns. They will do perception checks to see if they can spot you. They have keen hearing and sight, which means that perception checks done with their ears and eyes get advantage. They also have expertise, which means that they have a +5 bonus to perception. You're not really stealthing a great deal right now. So they're going to go against your, well, just basically a DC. We're just going to go for a DC. If they get a... Let's see. Let's try and figure this out. Let's say if they get a 10, they'll see everything up to that line. If they get a 12, if they get a 15, if they get a 20, if they get a 25, if they get a 30. I think that's fair. That makes sense to me, especially in an open area. It also makes sense that they wouldn't necessarily get... what's the word? They wouldn't necessarily be able to see you just being out in the open because the snow can be blinding when it's a sunny day. So the first guy gets a 22. And the second guy gets a 25. So that means that they all see the 4 of you closest to the wall. They do not see Victor or Ruby immediately. So they can tell that there is something happening. They can also see that one of their own is dead at the bottom of the tower. That was the crucial thing, that they had to be able to see that with a 10. They have seen that, and they now call out, "We need help! We need help on the wall! We need help on the wall! Someone's dead! Victor..." Yeah, like, what should we call him? Trevor's dead! I nearly called him Victor, and I was like, no, dude, fucking, we can't have 2 people on the battlefield who are both called Victor. That would be weird. Trevor's dead! Trevor's dead! So one of these guys is going to shoot for the 2 people running, I guess. We're going to have a runoff. They've both got longbows, so they're both going to fire off with their longbows. One guy attacks and another guy attacks. The first one was aimed at Aldrin and got an 8, which misses. The second one was aimed at Isabel, which gets a 16, which hits. This is going to be 8 damage to Isabel. That then is going to be their turns. They have just shouted. It is now Ash's turn. Ash, you are a rabbit. You've got 35 feet movement speed. You have +2 to perception, +3 to stealth. Your proficiency bonus is +2, etc. You do have a bite attack and an AC of 11. Hit points of 1. So what do you want to do? Tats?
I am just gonna continue to run.
Okay. Well, if you take a dash, then you can go 70 feet.
I am a rabbit, so they see me as a rabbit, not like as...
They see you as a rabbit, yeah. Okay, so while you take your dash, we'll move on to the next person. Just so we can get through this, because we've delayed by 10 minutes at the start there. It's now Victor's turn. I think that Victor is seeing what's happening and is just going to want to stealth. Knowing Steve and Victor's sort of character choices, I think that Steve would play Victor as wanting to stealth to try and keep out of the view of these archers, but also trying to make sure that everybody gets in safely. So we'll ready a reaction that if anybody comes beyond the wall to try and attack, then he will fire off at them, but otherwise he's going to just stay where he is in cover. Next is going to be Briar then. Briar, it's your turn. What do you want to do? You're going to keep running as well?
Yep. And I believe it would just put me 1 pace ahead of Isabel right there.
Nice, nice.
60 feet.
Then it is now Ruby's turn.
Okay, so I guess similar to Victor, Ruby is just gonna keep an eye on what's happening behind, but try and stealth away.
Good stuff. I approve. Just try and keep where you are. Are you also readying an action?
No, I have reactions I can use if necessary. If something is lobbed at me.
Fair enough. Then we get to the top of the order again. Before Aldrin takes their turn, we end up with some scouts appearing beyond the wall. They climb up onto the battlements with these guys. Actually, let's get them onto a different battlement each so that we can keep track of them easier. So this guy appears, this guy appears, this guy appears. Let's get them all on their own thing. They've all had to dash to get to where they are, though. So these three are not going to be able to do anything this whole round. But they have appeared. They are there. That is sort of what do you call it? Lair action. Lair action for this wall. Aldrin, it's your turn again. What do you want to do?
I think just keep running. Because if I
Alright.
full tilted, I'm off the map.
Are we all just continuing to run then?
Seems
If
like
so-
that's
My
what
plan.
everybody wants.
Okay.
So,
Alright, so
didn't
measure
mean to
out your
start a fight in
distances.
the first place.
Measure out your distances.
80.
So
No,
we'll go
full
Aldrin and Isabel are the first two. So you will both be measuring out your distances and making it that far.
Well, you want me to go as well?
Yes, please. Aldrin's just dashing. If you're just dashing as well, then we can skip both of you as you calculate your distances. And then we get to the scouts again. Let me make these public rolls so that you can see them on the chat as well. So we're going to do 5... no, actually, it's going to be 2 attack rolls because they've just dashed to get there. So we're going to do 2 attack rolls on these guys. One of them is still going to be aiming for Aldrin because you're a bright green target. It's quite easy to spot you in the like white. But the other one is going to aim for Briar just purely because Briar is the closest target and he would rather, you know, have a good shot. So the first one was a 15 to hit Aldrin, which does hit. And the second was a 19 to hit Briar, which also
Aldrin!
hits.
Your AC sucks.
So you've now got 5 damage to... They rolled really poorly. That's 5 damage to Aldrin. And this guy is going to roll damage as well. And that is 9 damage to Briar. That's the scout's turns, and it's now Ash's turn. Ash, you're still a rabbit. Do you want to keep running?
Well, why is it asking for a concentration roll?
Because you've been hit by damage, and if you're concentrating on a spell, then you need to do that. The concentration that you were holding was on Nether's Mischief, so you could just drop that concentration if you want.
Yeah, let's just drop that.
Alright, so if you go into your effects, then it will have concentration, and you can click it off. You can, like, disable it.
Alright, I'll go
Ash,
find that.
are you still running as a rabbit? I assume so?
Yes, I just ran as a rabbit.
Nice. I think Victor is just going to hold here, ready an action to dash, because Victor is a rogue, so can do bonus action dash. So we'll use that as his reaction just as soon as Briar makes it past the line. Wants to wait for Briar, and then we'll move. And speaking of Briar, it is now Briar's turn. Briar, what are you going to do?
I'm gonna dash, and it puts me right here.
Okay, then at that point, Victor is also going to move. Now it is Ruby's turn. Ruby, what are you going to do?
Just come off the map with everyone else.
Nice. All right. Up to the top of the order then. And this time we have the lair action of one of the guards appearing on the wall. He has also had to dash his way here. He is in full plate armor. He is a veteran fighter. He has a sword in his hand and looks like he is ready to fuck you guys up. But he won't be able to act until his turn. Aldrin, it's now your turn. You can see the hubbub and chaos appearing behind you, and you've just taken an arrow in the shoulder. What do you want to do?
I want to keep running away,
Okay.
but I've run out of map.
Yeah, that's fine. So we're just going to say that you're going to keep running off the edge of this map. Isabel, I assume doing the same?
I mean, this
Yep,
fight wasn't supposed to be started. You were just going to sleep.
Okay. So Aldrin and Isabel keep going. The scouts have longbows. Longbows have got a range of 600 feet. We're not going to continue this up to 600 feet, but we are going to continue it for as long as somebody is still on the map. So the moment that everybody gets to the edge of the map, we'll say, okay, that's it, time, and we'll move on. Because I don't want to keep having to do this over and over and over again for the full 600 feet. We'll just say there's a hill at this point, and they can't see past it. But, that being said, it is their turn again. So, these scouts are going to fire off their longbows. And there's going to be 5 of them. They're going to go for the people who are closest, and those 2 people are Briar and Isabel. So, Briar, you're going to take 3 of these shots, the first 3. Isabel, you're going to take the second 2.
Wait a minute.
The last 2, rather.
Wasn't I just after Aldrin? I didn't move.
You were. I asked you whether you were continuing.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm assuming that you are moving just to the edge of the map. But
Yeah.
like I say, they've got a range of 600 feet, so they can still fire at you. Their range is 150, 600. So at this point, they're actually firing at disadvantage. You are just... This is the range. I don't know if you can see that. Briar is 5 feet out of the range of this guy. So, in actual fact, he's going to be firing at disadvantage. So, 3 shots at disadvantage against Briar. 10 fails. 8 fails. 13 fails. And now 2 more against Isabel at disadvantage as well. At disadvantage gets a 19. That beats your 15. They
Okay.
got a 17 and a 15, and they have a +4. And then we're going to go another disadvantage shot, and that was a nat 1. So the first damage that he fires at you is going to be 6. And the next damage he's going to apply to himself. And that is a 7. He takes his own health down from 16 to 9. And we are now at Ash's turn. Keep it on running.
But yeah, but I'm at the edge of the map. I can't run no further.
That's fine. And then Victor's turn, also going to keep running. Briar's turn, I assume you run. Okay. I'll take your silent movement as a yes. And then Ruby, you're at the edge of the map as well.
Sorry, I didn't realize I was muted, but yeah.
Yeah, you're all good. You're all good. I assume that Ruby, you're moving as well.
Yep, moving, and if I happen to have noticed the
Mhm.
people near me who have
Yep.
been shot,
Yeah.
I will shout at them, "Don't bleed on the snow, don't follow us."
I'll do my best.
That was not what I expected. I was thinking you were going to give them a health potion or something, not shouting at them not to
Nope.
bleed messily. Jesus fucking Christ.
Ruby's had enough of us.
Don't leave a blood trail so they can follow us. That's the last thing we need.
The irony that Ruby has
Ruby-
had it with your bullshit and Ruby's the only one who's been doing bullshit this whole fucking campaign.
Excuse you. I had no part in the past few sessions of death.
Yeah, sure. Well, you move to the edge of the map, and we'll finish out this round. The veteran climbs over the wall, is going to drop from the wall because they're already at a height, which means that they don't actually need to, what's the word? Take half their movement, and they're going to get to here. It is then the end of that round, and we're up to the top of the order. And you hear a muffled scream coming from one of these guards on the wall, and then the whole air turns silent as you give me a perception check. See what you can hear. We'll do one for Victor as well. Gets an 8. Aldrin, Isabel, and Ash. You all hear what sounds like the scraping of a sword in the snow.
I would like to get out of bunny form, please.
Yeah, you could drop that at any point. And Briar, you don't hear it. But yeah, the rest of those three of you, Aldrin, Isabel, and oh Jesus Christ, that really does fill the chat. Aldrin, Isabel, and Ash, you all realize that what you're hearing is the sound of a sword being scraped through like the dirt and snow, and just a muffled scream and then silence.
It's not who I think it is it?
Well, with that, the combat is over. We return you to your normal scheduled programming. What would you care to do at this point? Are we still headed towards the White Scar?
I don't see any reason why we have to change
Yep.
our plans.
Okay,
Yeah, I
then.
think that was the plan. Ruby has no idea what other people have heard, so
True.
Ruby will just charge forward to the mountains and show everyone the way.
Nice. So you all will just activate the forest scene again, so that you've got somewhere at least to play around on the map. But yeah, you for now are just sort of moving your way through the frozen tundra. The further north that you go, the more you notice that the snow is starting to fall a little bit lighter here. Like, this part of the continent hasn't found any kind of winter yet. It's definitely a southern thing first, much as in our own world. And you find that the further towards the mountains you get, less snow, more wind. It's like the wind coming down off the mountains once more. This is sort of where we get to the point where Ruby is going to be navigating you guys. What are you focusing on at this point as a group? Hey, Witch! Welcome in.
Well, to keep,
Yes, I
to
am the
keep Ruby
DM.
happy, I'm going to just wrap my wounds up a little bit.
This is my beholder face. You're wrapping your wounds up. Okay, does that include, like, bandages and medicine checks, or are you actually using, you know, like, spells or potions?
I'm just seeing what's in my backpack.
Okie doke.
I don't have anything that could do that.
Do you have any potions in your backpack?
Oh yeah, I do. Sorry.
Yeah, you got 2.
Yeah, I'll use one.
All right then. It just needs to be
Just
rolled
to
in the
let you
thing.
know, I'm giving you a shout out because someone was asking. So if
Oh
your lights
my
flicker,
God.
that's why.
Yeah, I can. Yeah, my lights did. Yeah, my lights changed real fucking hot, like an
I
RGB
wanted
like
to
a
warn you
motherfucker.
before I did it.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, look at that. 10 HP. That's lovely. We like that. That is devious, and I love it, and I will definitely use that in the future. But yes, I am very much into making mimics take forms of all kinds of different shit. Well, we are headed through these frozen wastes. You have made it out of Highfall. You have managed to get your the Olokoi um, back to life. So the Sandman is now back as he once was, and you are there you go. He's back as he once was. You've had some nightmares overnight. Some of you have gained some insights into the world around you and maybe some other worlds as well. But you now need to roll your encounter check. We're going to go for an encounter roll to see which friend you might just find on this path together. It's another 1d10, as ever. There's still a bunch of people on this list that you have not met yet. So you've met... So a 9 or a 10 on the die means that nothing eventful happens. An 8 is Yashk Arundel, who you have met before, the screaming girl child who is aging rapidly and has a chicken stuck in a large cage. A 7 is Daitsu Moss, who you have met before and is trading for things. Traded you a perfect, like, sculpted, whittled thing in exchange for a large ruby. 6 you've not met yet. 5 is Winston, the Tooth Fairy, who's looking for orc tusks because he uses teeth as part of his fairy magic. Tooth-related magic, basically. And you gave him the idea to go and rob some graves for teeth, so he's gone off to do that. 4 is Olokoi, who you killed and then revived, and it turned out that he was the Sandman, and his brother Death was not particularly happy about all of that, but at least now you've made some efforts towards making amends. 3 you've not met, 2 you've not met, and 1 is the Valkyries, who you did meet. So, those are your encounters. You've still got 1, 2, 3 yet to find. 1, 2, 3 yet to find. So it would be 2, a 3, or a 6 will be new characters to you. I'm going to roll this now. We'll see exactly who you get to meet. 2! Look at that. You finally get to meet somebody new. And you 100% do. You see that they're walking through the trees up ahead. You hear her before you see her. There's somebody walking along who is sort of like grumbling to themselves about something. Looks like this. Has an undercut, has it kind of shaved into strips all the way down the side of the head, is wearing like a black kind of war paint style makeup, like ashes, that have been sort of smudged down below the eye line. The hair is braided back in a very tight braid. Wearing a sleeveless armor top, like a leather armor, but it's black leather with purple leather stitching, and a hood attached to all of it, is walking along and sort of grumbling to themselves under their breath. What would any of you like to do? Okay, so Aldrin is hiding. I can't hear anyone talking if anybody is talking. It sounds like either all of you are silent
I
or...
didn't say anything.
Okay.
I've got some food finally for the first time today, so I've been on mute.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, Aldrin's just gonna hide behind a tree.
Okay.
Or try to with that roll. But they still been shot with an arrow, so they're probably like
Yeah.
from behind the tree.
They're grumbling, aren't they?
They're grumbling to themselves, yeah.
Can I use perception to try and hear if I can hear what they're grumbling?
Yeah, sure.
Never mind.
You at least can tell that they are frustrated, disgruntled, just by the tone of voice, but you can't really make out the words. Aldrin with a 10, yeah, you can start to make out a few words. Life, stolen, theft, those kind of words.
So I'm not happy to.
Aldrin whispers those over to those nearest to them.
I would also say that a stealth check of 8 is like you're trying to hide in a white background in neon green, and you're
I'm
like
neon green and
trying to
bleeding
hide.
on
Yeah,
white.
exactly.
I don't
you're not
hide
you're
well.
not exactly hiding particularly well with a stealth roll of 8. But yeah,
Can
you
I try to do
go on.
an insight check to see if they're just like
You could get their like basic
forlorn?
vibe with an insight from this distance. Yeah, they're upset. Something about their situation is making them upset.
I'm gonna go out and talk to them.
Love that.
Thank you.
Hello?
They sort of continue grumbling to themselves. You can hear them a little bit better now, though.
Oh, what are they saying?
Will you please just... I know, but can I... Right, but... Could you... Let me speak, please. I'm not happy about this. Why did you do this? I don't deserve this. What did I do to deserve this? This is theft. You've stolen something from me. What do you mean it was yours in the first place? I don't know what you're talking about. Just give me it back. They look up and see you there. Oh! Oh!
Hi.
Bird. Hi. Hello, Bird.
Hello. I'm Ash.
Hi. I'm Penny. Can I help you?
I'm just traveling with some friends, but I noticed that you seem kind of down. Are you okay?
She's gonna roll an insight check.
I am not being deceptive at all.
She gets a 19. She's also going to do a history check. She gets a 6. She does not recall seeing the scrying sensors that showed up with your guys' faces on it.
I am very glad for that.
She was sort of like tilting her head and narrowing her eyes like she knew you from somewhere, but then she sort of shakes her head and shrugs like she's lost the trail of thought. So she looks sort of a little bit perturbed, and, you know, her arms sort of shrug forwards a little, and she's just sort of like clenching and unclenching her fists, and I'm sorry, I didn't mean for you to catch me that way. Well, what do I care? I don't know who you are. Sorry, I didn't mean for that to come out.
I wasn't trying to eavesdrop. I just heard you coming through, and it's kind of dangerous around here. I was just making sure you were okay.
I already lost my life. Makes no difference now.
But
Thank you for caring.
You're right here. You seem to have your life. Is there anything we can do to help?
I don't think you can do anything.
Well, I mean, we might be able to. It's worse than just letting it happen, right?
Give me a perception check. She's been stood still the whole time. As have you. What is curious is what catches your eye at this point. When she's stood stock still, talking to you, making eye contact with you, is that her shadow is moving independently. Not following her movements whatsoever.
Okay, I'm not saying this out loud, but that's kind of creepy. I mean, the worst that can happen is what's already happening, though, so maybe we can help.
I don't think so. I'm sorry. I have difficulty keeping those thoughts in. I'm gonna go now. It was nice meeting you, Ash. And she goes
Before she runs,
she goes to
gonna say-
reach out for a handshake, but she notices something else reaching out as well and quickly pulls her hand back with her other hand and then steps back from you. Sorry. Sorry. Nothing? No. Nothing happened. I'm going to go.
Can I
I'm gonna
detect
go.
magic real quick?
Yeah.
It automatically made me choose that, but
No magic.
if you want to wait just a moment, I have one of my friends is a cleric.
I'm good, thank you. I've talked to clerics. Clerics don't know how to fix my
This
situations.
one's a little darker.
Anyway,
studies.
Thank you, but goodbye. And she sort of walks off at a bit of a hasty walk at this point. That's your encounter. You've met Penny. After meeting her and her walking off, she quickly gets back to talking to herself again.
I'm gonna tell everybody what just happened about the shadow and everything.
Nice. I assume that you all continue heading north towards the White Scar.
Mm-hmm.
Lovely. Then we will head over to our next map, which is the White Scar itself. Exciting. Let me just add you guys onto it.
Oh dang, we came to the Black Scar.
There you go. So, you all arrive at this riverside town. It is a town that is it embraces magic, but at the same time it has a heavy suspicion of it. The people here are fortified and they are careful because they are aware of the dangers that magic can reap. However, at the same time, they still use it in many of the aspects of their lives. For instance, just here you can see that this footbridge is not like a modern suspension bridge. It has magical apparatus at either end, which allows it to sink down into the water whenever a sailing ship goes past. It's just one of their little modern conveniences that they have developed in this town. They have a large jail on the right-hand side next to the barracks and a sort of nobleman's dining area. Over the river from you, you can see that there is a pagoda, kind of like a gathering place. You can also see that there is a chapel and a burial area next to those. And also just a general sort of kitchen, butcher's place, plus the noble's place. So yeah, you've got the run of this whole town. You came here so that you could either find Merlin or hand yourselves in. What do you want to do?
Aldrin wants to look for Merlin. Does anything around look like what we've seen of his previous houses or towers or portcullises, whatever his transportation he thinks?
You may give me a perception check or an arcana check if you wish.
Alright. See, perception. Let's go
One
with
or t'other.
Arcana 18.
With an 18, you don't get a sense of anything particularly magical in your immediate vicinity. Apart from these apparatuses on the on the bridge. There's nothing more beyond that you can really tell from this distance. You feel like you might need to explore and take a look around.
Alrighty.
So from where you're stood, there's a guard on this side, stood right next to you. On the other end of the bridge, there's another guard and then an armored guard next to them. You are stood right next to the sort of dining area. There's the dungeon just beyond that, the sort of lockup, local prison. And you can see that the ground, the terrain here is patchy with snow. They've got a lot of the trees and plant life is holding on to the stray flakes that do drift here from the south, but more than anything, it's still sort of verging on winter rather than full-blown like in Kashala Port.
Tell what the building across the way is?
What building?
Or I thought it was a building.
This one?
Maybe it's not a building. On
So
the
that's
other
like
side of the river.
Yeah, the one that I'm marking here? That
Yeah.
one? Okay, so that's like a pagoda, like a freestanding sort of thing.
Okay.
You can see that there are 3 people in there. You can also see that the ship is fully laden with sailors, with the captain at the helm. There are workers on the dock there trying to help load up some of the provisions. And the ship doesn't look anything particularly, fanciful or crazy. It's a very small vessel for what it is. It's only about 20 feet across, which isn't that much, really. Anybody here got any ideas of what they want to do?
Are we?
Calmly and quietly walk across the bridge like there's no problem.
There's someone in the way
Nothing's
there.
wrong.
Yeah, that's a guard. The guard steps to one side.
Do-do-do. Do-do-do. We're just gonna cross the bridge.
Same.
Do-do-do. Think
Anyone else
about
with
our
any designs on
business
what
if
they want
we
to do?
can.
Does the guard say anything to us when we try to cross?
No?
How about the other side? Or do these 2 guards not worry too much?
They don't move out of your way immediately. But, you're able to, shove past them if you want to. They seem to be just, talking to each other.
I'm just struggling because Foundry has stopped for me. So that's
Okay.
why I've not said or done anything.
All right. Well, do you want to move over the
I'll
bridge?
probably just follow the group. If they're moving across the bridge, I'll follow.
Okay. Then I'll move you and Victor over the bridge then.
I kind of wiggled around them. I didn't want to go through them.
Yeah. Have you tried refreshing the page, B?
A few times. I'll
Okay.
do a few more things.
Maybe try a different browser. You're over this side of the river now. You can see that the water as it flows, it has a murky sense to it, and as you're walking over the bridge, you start thinking, oh, maybe it's the snow, but then you think, well, snow doesn't dissolve in water. That wouldn't make any sense. And it's then when you realize, oh, it's the runoff of the dairy. The milk from in the high mountains washes downstream here, and it makes the water here so white. And then you realize that this is exactly that. It is just like a big deluge of milk in the river. As you get over to this side, you see a little bit clearer now the nobleman's house, or well, study. You can see the butcher's shop next door, and start to smell some of the salted meats in there, and the particularly like savory smelling things like cheeses and spices and stuff like that.
Gee.
This being a port town and being downstream of a dairy, you can imagine that they have a lot of dairy, that they make a name for themselves in the continent for their command of dairy and how they can make cheeses better than anybody else really in the area. And of course the spices that they would get from all other parts of the world, other countries, other realms even, that they would be able to use those. What kind of things are you looking to do now that you're here? You said that you wanted to hand yourselves in. You also wanted to find Merlin. What's the biggest priority
Aldrin
on your
does
mind?
not want to hand themselves in. They will not be participating in that activity.
Okay.
Okay.
Aldrin's looking for Merlin.
Okay.
Well, we want to look for Merlin too first, I assume.
Arcana check from where you are here. You can tell that there is a glowing stone up here. It's like a small obelisk. It's probably about 6 feet tall. It's stone. It's
This
got
thing?
runes in it. They glow blue. And it looks very much reminiscent of the kind of thing that you saw in another town where you were looking for Merlin there. I think it might have been Lundborough Port.
On the map, is it this little square thing here?
Yes, it is.
Aldrin, go ahead to that.
Okay. You can see that there are 3 figures here stood in the pagoda, and as you walk past, you clearly recognize that one of them is Ox. The 3 figures are speaking to one another with sign language.
Interesting.
Snag! Snag, you fucking legend! Snag! Welcome in, Snag. Love you, Snag.
I'm trying to think of what would be the best check to use on the rune thingy to see how to activate
How was your
it.
stream, Snag? What did you do? Did you
To
do
get to
good
Merlin's
stuff
house or
and
ring
cool
the
things?
doorbell.
So there's questions here, aren't there? Really, the main thing is, do you know how you would summon Merlin or get inside if you were to try? And do you believe that you would be able to get past Ox without him spotting you? You've managed yourself, but a larger group might not be able to do that alone. I think at this point, this is where you might need to plan. You are also stood next to 2 guards, so planning out loud might just be a little bit difficult. What is everybody going to do? This is where you might need to discuss things, because everyone's quite quiet at the moment. So pipe up, everyone start talking.
Okay,
Aldrin's trying to check out the obelisk for any other clues.
I'm going to try and go into the trees here and motion
Thank you for the follow, ICM,
slightly
by the
for
way.
the others to follow, so
Welcome
we can
in.
plan
Welcome.
out of earshot, hopefully.
Hope you're doing well today. So you're sort of nudging your way over into the tree line to sort of coax other people with you as well? Alright, cool. Aldrin, with the Arcana check, you can tell that this thing is magical, but you can't really decipher what the runes say. Putting your hands on the stone doesn't seem to shift it or do anything to this stone. And it doesn't seem like immediately there's anything obvious here about how you should proceed about opening this thing. Bearing in mind that Merlin is a private individual who tries to keep people out wherever possible, that the idea of having something that is very obviously how to operate it kind of defeats the purpose of that. So you can imagine that this would be something that perhaps he is put here on purpose to be specifically difficult. Isabel has headed into the tree line. Victor's still not here, so I'm gonna go that Victor also would want to go into the tree line and try and stealth. B, your foundry's still fucking up. What would you like to do?
It's back up and running. I was just going to say, did you want a stealth roll to go and join Isabel or not?
Ooh.
Well, this is all a question. What do you guys want to do? I'm not here to prompt you. I'm here just to tell you the consequences of your actions.
I didn't want it to be obvious in front of these two guards that suddenly a group of 5 people are going to go into the trees. So I would like to stealth.
Cool.
I don't know how to retroactively.
I think that to be fair, I think that Victor would also want to do that. Victor has the elven cloak, so gets a 21 because gets to roll with advantage for stealth. Your stealth roll gets you a 13. Isabel's just walked in there, but just, you know.
I mean, if you guys are all stealthing, then technically not all of us need to stealth on that.
So you openly walk into a tree line and then start to slowly crouch behind a bush. I should probably have stealthed in here. Oh no. These two guys are still... Yeah, these two guys are still talking to each other. Briar and Ash, speaking of talking, neither of you have said anything. What do you want to do? I don't know if you're muted again or what.
No, I was talking to my chat. Heck it, I'm going to woods too.
Alright. And Briar?
I will follow everybody else into the woods.
Okie dokie. So we've got a line of people all headed into a tree line about 25 feet away from two guards. They seem to be, you know, interested in something, talking to each other, but, you know, you're not really catching wind of what it is. The 3 figures in the pagoda are still talking to each other using sign language. They don't seem to have looked up from each other. The good thing is that the fact that it's sign language, they are kind of preoccupied by looking at each other's hands rather than what's going on around them. So that's kind of helpful at the moment. But you can imagine that when their conversation ends, that they're not going to be doing that for much longer. And one of them is Ox, but Aldrin is the only one who has seen that. Aldrin, back at the obelisk, what do you want to do with this thing?
Aldrin doesn't really have deciphering things, and my brain's not fully working today. Okay. Sorry, I've been trying to think of what to.
It's okay. Take your time. Welcome in, Bane. Good to see you. Good to see you.
My brain
Hope you're having a good day. Saw you earlier in Giddy's chat. Ox is the guy who has been speaking on the scrying sensors about getting you guys caught because you are wanted for the investigation of all of the murders. And they are leading the investigation and want to question you a lot. They are here in this sort of central city of the continent. You don't know why, you don't know where they're headed, but you know that they're here and they're having a private conversation. So, yes, they are the person who is hunting you that you've walked past openly. So...
if Aldrin just tries to channel magic into this obelisk, what role would that be and what would happen to him?
It depends on how you're going about it. So you're a sorcerer, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So, what do you think you might be able to use?
They have a staff that's their arcane focus.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe holding the staff and with one hand and having the other on the obelisk, and just sort of trying to channel their power to like investigate, open the doorway if they can find it, solve whatever riddle or puzzle Merlin may have magicked into place on it.
I'm not going to give you the answer right now about what the 100% answer might be.
Yeah.
But we'll say 30 seconds, I will allow crosstalk between all of you for anyone who's got any suggestions. Go for it, 30 seconds.
Ruby.
If this backfires, Aldrin will just blatantly walk up to them and be like, "Hi, what do you want?" It's a warning that will happen.
Ruby whispers, or is hushed to the group and says, "We need to go up and admit what's happened, or at least discuss what's happened."
You haven't seen Ox.
Prove what
we don't know that.
I know. I'm saying we need to go and find, not them specifically. So that's the whole point of we come in here. So Ruby's basically saying, we came here to come in. Let's go do that, because obviously Aldrin's wandered off.
Let me clarify. Those 30 seconds, we had one threat of going and telling these guys, and another person saying we need to go and admit ourselves in. The thing that I was saying was 30 seconds to suggest to Mars how Mars and Aldrin might be able to channel energy into this thing without being spotted.
Oh.
So now that you've got that very much more specific thing, 30 seconds, go. This is metagaming. You've got 30 seconds of allowed metagaming. Talk between yourselves about what you would want to do.
Would Pass Without Trace work?
That's not putting channeling stuff into the obelisk.
It's about the stealth aspect of it.
If you're a sorcerer, Mars, are you able to do something with your sorcery points? Whether it's to do with like transmuting or twin spell or anything like that.
I've got twin
channel
spell.
Sorcery points.
I've got subtle spell. What am I doing?
2, 1, 30 seconds over. Okay.
Subtle spell.
Good choice. Thank
I'm
you
an idiot.
for
It was
that.
staring me in the face. Thank you.
Yes, that means, so for anyone who doesn't know, sorcerers don't just have command of magic and can cast spells. They also have command over how that magic is used, and it's called meta magic. They are particularly good at meta magic, which is why I allowed meta gaming for 30 seconds there.
Thank you.
Because, for one, Mars's brain is fried, and we have sympathy for that. But also because, yes, there is such a thing as subtle spell, where you can use your sorcery points, which is something specific to sorcerers, that you have these, additional resources at your disposal. And you can use those points to affect the method at which you cast a spell. Subtle spell means that you no longer have to do the verbal and somatic, i.e. moving your hands around, components of a spell. So you can cast a spell without anyone noticing what you're saying or doing. Because usually, when you cast spells, they have components to them. One is material, one is verbal, and another is somatic. Verbal is obviously saying the words, the incantation aloud, and somatic is moving your arms and hands in a way that casts the spell. Every time you cast a spell, it isn't just that you're clicking a button on a sheet. Your character is actually saying the magic words and moving their hand around and expending whatever material or using their focus. And this allows your character to not have to do that part of it. It's why if you get like silenced or you get your hands bound, you won't be able to cast certain spells because your character won't be able to do those components of it. I've not fucked you over that hard yet, but I will do in the future. So this is one of those things.
Languages, if I can.
Oh, sure, yeah. Do you want to do subtle with that as well?
Yeah.
All right. So just spend your sorcery points for subtle spell, and then you can cast comprehend languages. You can now see what they are saying to each other. Yes, it should. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So you should now be able to see what they are saying to each other. Is it them the three that you're looking at?
The three that I'm looking at, but also for
for the runes.
With the runes here in front of me on the obelisk.
Okay.
The duration is an hour, so I figure that would give enough time to try and manage both.
Yeah. What do you want to do first?
Probably watch the conversation for a bit to see at what point it's at. If it seems like it's in the middle, then look at the runes real quick, and then look back to the conversation. Just because if it's looking like it's at the end of the conversation, pay attention to the conversation and then hide behind the obelisk and attempt to decipher it while hiding. I mean, we're trying to hide anyway, but yeah.
Cool. Well, you see this conversation spelling out in sign language, common sign language. Ox says, "Will you be ready when he's found?" Julius says, "I will be ready. My men may not be." Orana says, "What will you need?" Julius replies, "Time." Ox finalizes with, "We have none of that. Make the arrangements. I'll see what I can do about the rest. Watch your sigils." Just so that you guys know, these are two characters. This is Orana. Orana is a tabaxi, covered in tattoos, scrawny, sphinx cat, is blind in one eye. You can see that by the milky look over their eye. Obvious, scars and burn marks and things in various places. Face covered over partially by a metal mask where the pincers on it embed into the skull. So it's not something that can just be removed, but is there permanently. And then the other person here is Julius. You may give me a history check if you wish.
Nope.
6. You know nothing of Julius. But you get that conversation. As far as the runes are concerned, comprehending these runes, it tells you that anybody who can answer a simple riddle will be able to enter.
Oh, that's Merlin.
Oh, okay, good. Riddles again. I like riddles.
While we are on the subject of the three people, it looks like their conversation is coming to an end and they're starting to look around. What do you want to do at this point? Bearing in mind you're the only person that's recognized it's Ox at this point. The others don't even notice that he's there.
Yeah.
They're sort of hidden in a tree.
Wondering. Okay. Am I going Daffy, or did I have Levitate on Aldrin?
Well, you changed your concentration spell to be Nether's Mischief. You can only hold concentration on one spell at a time. And Levitate is a concentration spell, I believe.
Oh, so I can't have both spells in my repertoire?
You can have them in there, but you can't have them cast at the same time.
Yeah, but I'm not even seeing Levitate on my list of spells anymore.
Oh, where's it gone?
Yeah, that's the issue that I'm having, because
it's there?
not in my...
We've lost a lot of spells,
is
what you're saying, with this new merger.
It's in there. It's in the second level ones.
Oh, I'm looking at the wrong tab.
It would help if you looked in the
That's
spells
how
tab.
fried my brain is. I'm looking at the
Yeah.
wrong tab, guys. Okay.
That's fine. Yeah.
Alright. Well, oh, great. And my mouse just closed. Foundry. Joy. Okay, thinking to sneak over behind the building.
Mm-hmm.
And then levitate over the building and then down into the woods.
Okay.
But I don't know if that's gonna work.
I'll need a stealth roll so that you can levitate without being immediately obvious that a floating neon green elf is flying through the sky.
Fingers crossed, right? Let's
Right,
go.
Dirty 20. That's pretty
Dirty
good.
20.
That's pretty good. Well, these guys are now looking around, as I've mentioned, so they will be doing some perception checks. What do you call it? The tabaxi is blind, so you can imagine that their perception is not going to be particularly good. So they still managed to get a 15, but for reasons which you are obviously not aware of at the moment, they don't immediately spot anything going on at the moment. Julius gets a 13, and Ox gets an 8. So at this point, you can whip straight past them without them noticing you whatsoever. And we'll just see whether the veteran spots you as you arrive near them. That's a 9. And the guard by the bridge as well gets a 22. As you arrive, the guard sort of points towards you. Give me a deception check. It's not out of the realms of, normalcy for somebody to start be drifting around. What do you think you're playing this off as?
So land in front of the tree line.
Yeah.
Oh, hello. Just getting a little bit of practice in. I was trying to keep away from the populated area by sticking to the woods, but the trees make it a little difficult.
He gets a 10, and he sort of lifts his chin slightly with that, quick nod. Like, yeah, all right. And then he turns back to the veteran and disregards you, basically.
And Aldrin just wanders off into the woods as if they're going to go back to practicing.
Nice. Managed to play it off pretty well. Okay, you're now back with the group. Discuss. I'm going to go quickly grab a drink while you talk.
So Aldrin would give you guys the rundown on all of what just happened and what they heard or saw and found out.
Are you saying
Did you say the tabaxi was blind?
Yeah, in one eye at least.
But how were they then communicating in sign language if they're blind?
Maybe the other one works? Psychic powers, they can see auras. I don't know. Theory.
I think the important thing here is Ox is here.
Yep. They are very much here, and there is somebody that they're going into battle with, it seems, because they're getting warriors ready and trying to prepare for something, and it's a he that's coming, and they don't have time. And it's just a riddle to get into Merlin's place again.
So who what I do remember of the riddles thing is we have to say it at the same time in order, if it does the correct one, in order for us to not go through all the riddles and get some of them wrong.
Yeah.
So who's the smartest one of us?
I am prepared to go to jail again because Briar is not good at riddles and she is just cringing at the idea already.
Ruby just goes, but we don't have a riddle yet.
Yeah,
So
we don't
know
the
the answer to a riddle we don't have.
But they weren't so bad last time.
Jail last time.
Read the room, Aldrin. Read the room.
We're not in a room.
I love that
Read the
idioms
trees.
just go completely over your head.
Ruby gives up.
Oh, that's great.
I'm just
I
I'm
mean,
like
Aldrin has a point. This is not a room.
Ruby does an office look to camera because that's how she feels.
I
Yeah,
love the question that you posed. How are they able to talk in sign language if they're blind? That's a very interesting question.
I know. I thought it as soon as you said she was blind. I'm like, wait, what? No,
it's a very interesting
this
question.
doesn't make sense.
Yeah,
doesn't make sense. Shut up, DM.
It's almost like I make interesting characters for you guys.
Well,
now that you guys are aware of those all being there and the fact that they're looking around and you can see them over there, they're in the pagoda now. Everyone but Aldrin now, who wants to, please give me a history check. I'll also roll for Victor. Okay. So a 5, a 9, and a 5 so far, and an 8. The last one here is going to...
Have I rolled? Oh, yes, I have.
You have, yeah. The last one here is going to determine it. I think it's Ash. We're still waiting on a history check.
Oh, I'm sorry.
$12. Ash, you do remember this guy. You remember Julius.
I remember Julius?
Yeah.
Okay, how do I remember Julius?
Not so long ago, you guys were fleeing Ironfront. And there was a conversation outside of the town walls between two guards. One of whom started hearing voices. Commented that the voice was particularly weird sounding. And that it must be a sign from the gods that he was a chosen one and needed to go off and worship something. He started taking off all of his armor and was getting naked, which takes like an hour when you're in full plate armor, which he was. But you remember seeing the look of his face when he took his helmet off, and this is him. You do also remember that back then he had 2 arms. Now he's only got 1. But he said to the guy back then that he'd always thought about becoming a paladin, and now that he thinks he's a chosen one, he might actually just go off and figure it out. He is wearing a holy symbol on his chest plate. Seems like the person that Ruby spoke telepathically into the mind of and made them convinced that there was an unusual god talking to them has gone off and gone north. Which, by the way, as I've hinted before, that in one of the scrying sensor announcements, the very first one I think it was, Ox mentioned where they live. They lived in the north. And this guy has headed north towards Ox's location, feeling that he was the chosen one. Interesting. Interesting. You remember Julius, and you know now that he was fooled by Ruby so hard that he went off and became a one-armed paladin.
I am gonna very quietly be like, hey, isn't that guard that wanted to be a paladin? The one with the one arm?
Ruby probably now gets a flashback of speaking into his mind.
Oh, the naked guy.
Yeah, the one who kept getting naked and took forever, and we took the horses.
Yeah. We were running at that point.
How did he
We're
lose his
always running.
I don't know.
I'm gonna guess frostbite.
Maybe it was what he went looking for.
Walking naked through a wintry landscape might just get your arm drop off by frostbite. It's a valid
That's
idea.
what I just said. But yeah,
Or it could have been a dragon.
we haven't seen the dragon yet.
We haven't. He might have. Maybe it was one of those Valkyrie ladies. They seem pretty tough.
These guys now start to walk out of the pagoda. Ox is leading the charge. They're going to be walking down towards your kind of area, it seems.
Right, we need to decide, are we going to hand ourselves in now, or are we trying Merlin first?
I think we should do it now.
Stealth of 5. Impressive stealth. You can see that even though Ox walked out ahead and Julius ahead of them as well, that the Tabaxi does have a quarterstaff that they carry with them, but isn't using it right now. They are following Julius without being led. They sort of loiter in this area for a second and continue a conversation in sign language. Aldrin, you can see that they're talking about heading over towards the barracks. What do you guys want to do at this point?
Who agrees that we should turn ourselves in now?
I do.
Aldrin points at the barracks and kind of like mouths. That's the way they're going.
Well, don't all speak at once. If you don't hand yourselves in now or make a decision, they're just going to see you as they walk past. So,
hiding behind a tree.
Sorry,
right.
I didn't mean to like.
Give me stealth checks. Everybody's particularly quiet tonight. I'm noticing. I think that everyone might have their brain fried from life in general.
Yeah.
So we'll get this group stealth check
The one
and
who
see
wants
how
to
well
hide
you manage
can't
to do
hide.
it. We get the stealth with advantage for Victor, who gets an 18. So we've got stealth of 6, 19, 17, 18, 21. We just need one more from Ruby, please. AFK but can hear. Okay then, so I will do your stealth for you. They get a dirty 20. Okay, so your average is then 19. What are their passive perceptions? Ooh, okay. They continue moving past you. That was very close. You managed to edge it out by 1 point. In fact, let me just put that there. There we go. They continue walking. No one's made any consensus of what you guys are going to do. They're headed over towards the barracks. You're talking about doing something, but not actually doing it, so they're just going to keep going.
We can't seem to agree on what to do.
No, I've noticed. No one's. It helps when people talk, and half of you aren't talking. So, what do you want to do? Be vocal about it. Talk about it. Make a decision.
If we do anything wrong, I think we should turn ourselves in. they've got to have a way to like read our minds or whatever,
Right.
because we didn't do anything.
Right,
Well,
how
what if
about
that destroys your mind as they do it?
Well, except for the guards.
why don't we have a visual way of doing it? DM, can we just quickly do something without being impacting on the world?
Oh,
Yeah.
like talking over the table?
No, kind
Yeah,
of. I was suggesting that if people don't want to turn themselves in, they stand next to Aldrin, and if people
Oh,
do
I see
want
what
to
you
turn
mean.
themselves in,
Yeah,
stand
like
next to Ash.
taking a vote. Right.
And
Okay.
it's visually that way we don't all talk at once and get confused.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, someone correct me if I'm wrong. I think that Victor was the one who was saying that they should hand themselves in, but also wanted to speak to Merlin first. So I don't know whether Victor's answer would be to hand themselves in immediately or go and talk to Merlin. I don't know what Steve would say.
Okay, so Ash is handed immediately. Aldrin is Merlin first.
I think without knowing what Victor would say, I think that we're abstaining Victor from this vote.
So one of you two will be the deciding factor
I
between
don't know.
Briar and Isabel. If
I don't know.
I mean, it's already, even if you do vote with Aldrin, it's still going to be 3-2. The question is whether you want to split the group, or and only the ones who want to hand themselves in go and hand themselves in.
I'm
or
not
if
letting
you...
go. I'm not Aldrin going on their own.
So then, I guess Victor would go with you guys, so that 3 of you can go and see Merlin, and 3 of you can go and hand yourselves in. Or do you want to go together as a group?
Well, if we get locked up, then having people on the outside would probably be a good idea.
This is just a thought. Maybe find somewhere to stealth important items that you don't want them to seize. Maybe keep a weapon on you still, though.
I've got feet. I got a weapon.
My hands are weapons.
My mouth is a weapon.
Or you could just leave it at us if we're already outside. We can hold on to your
go
stuff.
Look for Merlin.
I see what you mean, Shen, but we aren't the barbarians. We're the monk who does unarmed attacks, and 2 people who cast magic and can wild shape. So we'll be fine.
All right, I'm just saying if they want to take your valuables.
No. I appreciate. No. I get it. I was just giggling at that. The barbarian is like, what about your weapons?
Yeah, they
You'll
are the
fight
weapons.
without weapons.
So we're splitting the group then?
I think that's what it sounds like.
Yep.
Ruby
Okay.
is sad she's ended up in this group, but yeah.
What does that mean?
And that came across as rude. I meant because of the idea of going to prison. I didn't mean because it was Briar and F.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that's what I meant. I'm trying not to be a bitch, but that definitely was. I'm sorry.
It came across as not what you meant. I understand that feeling. Having yourself understood is a whole challenge. Okay, so 3 of you are going to go to Merlin's obelisk. The other 3 are going to go and speak to who? Are you going to talk directly to the guards? Do you want to do Isabel's suggestion and drop your things somewhere stealthy? Or just keep them on you? Yeah, or give them to them.
I promise we won't sell anything.
Who would we ever sell it to, and why would we? It's their stuff.
Oh, my money got reset, by the way.
I think everybody's did. Yeah, you probably got like 2,000 or something from the 12 grand that you got.
I've only got 20. Blimey.
Is there anything in particular that you guys are passing over to the other guys, or are you going to keep everything on your person?
Just checking. Does Victor still have the belt of Steve? Because it's with me, but Victor was the last person to wear it.
He returned it last session, I think.
Oh, to me.
Yeah, doesn't have it.
It's in my equipment, but
yeah, I think he returned it to you last session.
Pretty sure he doesn't have it. I can't see it in there.
I will give Belt of Steve to Victor. Just give that back.
Mm-hmm.
I also have the Cloak of Coziness.
Nice.
I can give
I guess
that
I'll
to
hand over
someone.
my ring of spell storing because I don't want that taken.
Mm-hmm.
I'll let Aldrin hold on to
Maybe
that.
I'll give the cloak of coziness to Aldrin.
All right then.
Sure.
You've got a cloak.
We'll
You've
hold
got a
on
cloak.
to these for you.
Okay.
Will they leave my sheet, DM, or is it just a memory game?
I am giving them the items.
Thanks, dude.
No problemo. I just want to make sure that everybody's actually got what they've actually got, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let's just delete that. And then who else? Ring of Spell Storing. Besides those two, was there anything else?
Let me give over my money just in case.
Okie doke.
Ruby is keeping her ruby. Ruby has no money.
Yeah. Alright, so then Aldrin's now got 4 grand and you've got nothing. Okay, updated. So Aldrin, you've now got 2 more magic items and some extra cash.
We'll protect these for you.
Alright, so now that you are headed where you're headed, who do we want to follow first? Should we go with the Merlin squad?
Yes, Merlin squad, go.
Okay.
Alrighty.
Are you guys just walking up towards the obelisk, or are you hiding in any way, or stealthing? What do you want to do?
I'm guessing it's the obelisk is not exactly cornered off for any reason, is it?
No, it's not cordoned off, and I just kind of walked up to it last time.
Let's
I
just
don't
walk up
think we'll have a
casually.
problem with doing that again.
They're kind of left here to be, you know, hiding in plain sight. That's kind of Merlin's whole deal. It's like the houses being there as well. It's kind of that kind of a vibe, you know?
I assume Victor will be following us.
Yes.
Shall we punch it?
Okay.
Well,
you boop the stone together, all 3 hands on, and you see nothing to begin with, but then the stone starts to sink in certain points, and it looks like the stone is magically carving runes and text into it that can be comprehended with all languages. It's like a Google auto translate that senses what you can see. And it like carves into it in these blue glowing text a riddle. The riddle is as follows: I have seas with no water, coasts with no sand, towns with no people, and mountains with no land. What am I?
seas with no water,
Coasts with no sand,
coasts with no sand,
towns with no people, and mountains with no land. What am I?
a miniature.
Nope.
I'm thinking. A map.
Yes, you pop through.
Ah,
I finally got one.
Yeah, Isabel hops in, but the other 2 of you are left behind.
oh,
Sorry, I forgot about the thing. I usually get it wrong.
that's okay.
Okay. Another one appears on the top of the obelisk. It says, the more you take, the more you leave behind. What am I?
The more you take, the more you leave behind.
Mm-hmm.
Time?
Nope.
Nothing?
Nope.
Oh boy. Victor, any ideas?
I'll give Victor an intelligence roll, just a raw intelligence roll. If Victor gets a 15 or above, then they'll get the answer and they'll have an idea of what to say. They got a 6.
Oh dear.
So that was with a +4, so Victor rolled a 2. So no, Victor doesn't have any idea of what this might be.
The more you take, the more you leave.
The more you take, the more you leave behind. What am I?
The more you take, the more you leave behind. Distance.
Nope.
I can't help, can I?
Nope.
I don't know anyway.
Water.
Nope.
Because you drink tea and you pee.
Nope.
Lord help me.
You can give me an intelligence roll if you want.
Yeah.
Just a flat intelligence. Click intelligence at the top.
The saving throw?
Nope. Above it.
Yeah, well, let me click on it. Oh, there it is. I have to click very much so on the letters.
Yes. You get
16.
the idea. Yeah, you get the idea of what it is. The question is, how do you communicate it to Victor? The answer is footsteps.
Oh. Okay, so I was on the right track with distance.
That's why I was like, yeah, no. Yeah.
So I'm gonna say to Victor, I think I've got it. When you walk and you leave tracks, you know, it's... Does he get it?
He
and
nods.
Can we say it at the same time?
Yes, he nods. He puts up fingers on his hand. 3, 2, 1. Footsteps.
Footsteps.
And the two of you blink through. We will get back to what you see in a moment. Back to the other squad. Briar, Ash, and Ruby. Team Bar? Team Rab?
Team Bar?
Team Aber?
Team Bra.
Team Bra!
Team Bra.
Team Bra. Okay, I'm really glad that we got there got together, guys. That was wonderful. Bruh. Team Bruh. Okay.
So Lex thought that the answer was going to be debt.
Oh, really? The more debt you take, the more debt you leave behind? I don't know if you can take debt.
I thought it was digging a hole.
I mean, there's a lot... The thing is that a lot of riddles have got multiple answers to them. And I've always been of a mind that if I do find a riddle that has the valid answer, I will accept other answers so long as I also find them valid. But they're just...
Time would be good
too many of them were a little bit close. Time was the first one that was said, but I didn't accept it. Because you can't really... Like, taking time doesn't really leave more time behind. It doesn't really work out in my mind.
No, but if you take your time, it's kind of like wasted time, so you left wasted time behind.
Yeah, I fail to agree.
DM says no.
DM says no. But it's fine. We got there in the end. I'll always give you a roll for it. Okay. So you guys now are hidden in a bush. You want to hand yourselves in. You can see that the Ox, the leader of the investigation, is over the bridge. What do you want to do about this? Are you going to talk to the guards on this side of the bridge? Are you going to try and get past them? Sneak over there? Magic over there? Get Ox's attention from here? What do you want to do?
What do you all think?
I was wondering if we can just walk past the guards that we just walked past fairly easily, and then basically boldly walk up to, not in an aggressive way, just boldly walk up to Ox and crew. So we are clearly not trying to hide what we're doing. We're clearly going towards them.
Oh, we can try it.
I agree with that.
We may as well, right?
All right, let's go.
Okay.
Let's try it.
Are you trying to play this off as like hiding who you are when you walk past these guys, or are you trying to sneak past like stealthy like, or give a performance to your walk, or are you just walking plainly?
Just walking plainly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're not putting on the show for them. We're putting on the show for the big guys.
Okay. These guys are going to ignore you because they've had other things on their mind. This guy is going to give an insight check into your walk because you're walking overly confident towards a barracks and he stands in your way at the end of the bridge. Where are you going?
We've got to go and talk to those 3 that just passed you. It's of utmost importance.
They are of the utmost importance and it's my job to protect them. Why do you want to talk to them?
I kind of look at Ruby and Briar like questioning if I should tell them.
Ruby gives a nod.
Well, we're here to turn ourselves in. You can search us. We don't have any weapons or anything.
He looks past you all to try and catch the eye of the veteran over the other side. Like waving his hand, see if he can spot him. I'm going to give him a perception roll with disadvantage. He gets a 5. He doesn't see him waving over. But who does see him waving is Julius, who walks over towards the bridge. Can I help? What seems to be the problem? Ah.
Yes, we'd like to turn ourselves in, please.
Right. Sir? The old man walks over with Orana walking closely behind, still not using the quarterstaff. And Ox steps forward. Ah. Okay. I understand.
I hold my hands up in a gesture of showing that I'm being sincere. Like, I'm not trying to pull anything.
He points at the guard and gestures with his hand. The guard pulls out handcuffs and puts them directly onto the wrists that you've just held out. And starts leading you towards the jails. It would be easier if
Ruby is going to be
of you did not...
panicking. Just FYI.
It would be easier if you did not resist. It would not be wise. He whistles, and the other 2 guards at the end of the bridge, who have been engaged in conversation this whole time and not really paying much attention, both immediately look up, like as if that whistle is enough to make them jump out of their skin, and they both start trudging down this bridge. You can feel that the planks on the bridge start to like shake and wobble, like it's held together by string when it's clearly like, you know, magically tethered together, just based on their panic alone. And they both run up. They look past you and look towards Ox. Please take these 2 to the jail cells. I will be in shortly. Do you resist?
Briar turns around and holds her hands out.
He claps some handcuffs onto you. The veteran takes you forwards. And what about Ruby?
Ruby turns to whichever sort of guard. Well, I guess Ox actually turns to Ox and says, we're coming willingly. You can put me in a cell, but please don't handcuff me.
You are suspects to 3 high-profile murders.
3?
Oh, you weren't aware. Somebody died this morning. I will need you all to submit your weapons and get into these cells above. And he points sort of like slightly up the hill towards where the edge of the waterline is. We will be questioning you soon. I would very much appreciate it if you would go calmly and quietly. We will be talking to you in due time. I am sure that we can iron this out. I do not wish to make you afraid or panicked. These are just formalities, but it is important that we keep you safe and sound.
Ruby doesn't respond. Ruby's probably not computing very well with what's happening.
At this point, then, you are led up towards the jail cells, 2 at a time. The tabaxi looks at you as you walk past. Seems to have a curious look on their face. Ash, you get put into the first cell on the right. Briar, you get put into the one after that. And Ruby, you get put across the hall in the final cell on the left. They confiscate your weapons and your spellcasting focuses. Okay.
That was so gross. I'm sorry, I just had to take a shot of lemon juice. And I have one more.
Nice. You are now in jail. What do you plan to do from here? There are 2 guards at the end of the hall, stood by the desk. All of the doors are locked. There are windows that look outside. There is 1 guard directly outside of your cells. The place is lit by torches. There are the bones of humanoids on the floor in each cell. And there are bars on the windows.
Ruby is very well aware of the internal panic and anxiety that she will be feeling. Despite knowing that this was what she had to do, she just didn't know if it was going to end up in a prison cell or not. Mm-hmm. So to try and calm herself down, because she's also well aware of what happened last time she was thrown into prison, because she knows she can't do any monk practice, because that's not going to go down well, she is going to meditate and think on her patron in a way of that to feel protected in this moment.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I got my timeline wrong, by the way. It wasn't this morning. It was the one that was a couple of weeks back. The one that was just announced from the boat.
Yeah.
Yeah. I misspoke when I said this morning. So you're feeling panicked. Is there anything that you are doing in particular?
Like I said, it's that sort of the way a version of monk meditation on
focusing on self, focusing on center,
focusing on self, but via knowing that their patron will protect them, despite this being probably the worst feeling that Ruby could have right now.
Okay. Briar, what are you thinking at the moment?
Briar is going to kneel and quietly pray to her patron or goddess Ear.
Yep.
For clarity in the situation and for fairness and judgment.
Okay. Give me a religion check.
Okay.
I would ask for it at disadvantage because you've not necessarily been praying particularly regularly. That is a 4. Your other one, they were both a 3. You rolled a 3 on both dice. So you don't particularly feel much of a connection to Ear at this point. You don't feel like you're going to get anything back through the radio waves, so to speak. But you are reaching out at least. And, that's the kind of thing that more and more, day by day, adds up to mean a lot. And, of course, you've got another cleric in the cell next to you. Speaking of which, Ash, what are you doing at this point?
I think I would just try to listen. Just to hear if I can hear if there's anybody in the cell next to me, because obviously I don't know who's next to me and who's not.
Mm-hmm.
So I would.
Well, it seems quiet at the moment because you got one person praying and another person meditating, so there's not really a lot that's going on.
Can I see what the guards are doing since I just moved?
One of them is just stood outside of your door. Through the window, you can see that there's a guard outside, and that Ox and Julius and Orana are stood talking in sign language again.
Can I hear any of them if I get closer?
Well, the guards are being quiet, and
Like,
sign language. Well, yeah, sign language isn't. Yeah, sign language isn't really well known for being particularly loud. So not really, no.
Okay.
Apologies for the sarcasm, but you know, sign language, not really a yelled thing. You don't really shout sign language at somebody.
No, but with sign language, there's a lot of facial and bodily movements that would indicate the tone of the conversation. But I only know that because I know sign language in real life.
True, but if you're in a clandestine group of 3 people who are trying to keep their conversation a little bit private, you're not going to be open about what you're saying with facial stuff, you know?
I'm gonna...
You try and, like, obscure it at least.
I guess I'm just gonna whisper to my friends or try to be like, are you guys okay? See if anybody replies.
Ash, is that you?
Yeah. Are you okay?
I think so. I'm quite nervous though. I think I've lost my connection to ear.
Well, just relax. We've got to let them know that we didn't do anything wrong. They've got to find out who actually did that so we can help stop what's coming.
Well, I hope they see it that way.
I'm sure they have ways of finding out that we weren't the ones who did anything.
But what if they want us to be that? What if we're the easy target?
Well, I mean, with everybody that we've met, we should be able to prove that we're important people that can help them put a stop to what is coming.
You think the others are okay? With Merlin?
I think they're okay. They've got to go and try to get help from him to help us stop this.
Have you heard Ruby?
I haven't. I don't know where she's at.
Speaking of Ruby, there is a jangling of keys. The portcullis that opens the doors to the outside of this place have opened. There's like an airlock of 2 portcullises. 2 portculli? I still don't know really what the fucking plural of so many of these words are. Anyway, there's a portcullis and then there's another one right after. And both of them have lifted and then closed. You heard the footsteps of 3 individuals walking in. Looking out through the window, Ash, you can see that your 3 favourite people are not there anymore. So you could surmise that they have entered inside of the cells. And speaking of Ruby, the door with the key being turned is the one that Ruby is sat by. The door opens and Ox steps in and closes the door behind him, locking the door. So, explain.
Explain which, what?
He stares at you.
You said we're suspects in 3 murders. I'm only aware of being even in proximity to one.
He continues staring at you.
That's not a lie. It's known we were in Dreedle, where
Dreedle
Sir
was
Kirby
once
was killed.
such a beautiful place, filled with life, filled with children. It saw tragedy. They were taken and given away to the Fae. I would ask that you not bring more tragedy to the city of Dreedle again. You were seen in the city. People gave accounts after my announcement that you were seen in and around the place. Guards mentioned that you had been seen in the southern part, but what's curious is all of the guards in the north part vanished. All of them. Nobody can account for where they have gone. Their families are beside themselves with fear. They have yet to be found. What we did find was the beheaded body of a renowned and prominent businessman. After you had all just left the city of Ironfront, where another prominent business person had also died. So you left a city to go to another city which does not follow any of the patterns of any of the families of yours that we have spoken to, or have managed to at least in this time. We have no idea exactly why you did what you did. I just want you to explain why you did it. Are you trying to bring about Ragnarok? And why did you kill Giselle Brie on her boat?
One, I don't know who Giselle Brie is. It's genuinely not a name I'm familiar with. Boats aren't my jam. If you claim to have spoken to people you know, I know, that should be evident. But going from Ironfront to Dreedle, I was never planning to head to Dreedle from Ironfront. We were, well, I'd say robbed, but everything we had was stolen on the way from Ironfront, and we had to get to the closest city. That ended up being Dreedle. The chance that another murder was there was not was not our plan. Definitely not. I only know that someone was murdered in Ironfront because it became big news.
I will be back. I will ask my associate to stay here and watch you. Orana! She steps inside and he locks the door behind her. Next, the door unlocks to Briar's cell and Ox steps inside. Praying. Good. You will need prayers before long, I'm sure. Please explain to me why you did what you did.
Do you mean why we turned ourselves in? Because we haven't done anything.
Do not play coy. You have murdered.
No, we haven't.
Why does a trail of bodies lie behind each of you then?
Because we're trying to stop the people that are. We're trying to solve the mystery. We're trying to catch up with these people who are committing these heinous acts, and unfortunately that puts us in a lot of suspicion, and that's why we decided to turn ourselves in, to come forward and be honest, because we just want to help.
I will ask my associate to stay in here with you.
Okay.
Julius! Julius steps inside. And then he goes finally to Ash's door, unlocks the door, and steps inside, locking it behind him. Goes over to the far wall and leans against it. Starts picking at his fingernails. Well?
No, there's no well in here.
He doesn't look up at you, doesn't acknowledge what you said. Where are the rest of you?
They were trying to get more help.
They did not see the wisdom in handing themselves in to us for questioning.
They will be coming back.
For your sake, I hope so. You will not be free until they arrive. Tell me, why did you do what you did?
What are you referring to? Why did I turn myself in? Because I'm innocent.
Your friend had a very similar response. I mean, the murders that you have been leaving in a wake behind you all.
You must be referring to the holy man that we're trying to stop.
He just blinks.
We're also trying to stop, the chests from being opened and Ragnarok being released.
He narrows his eyes. He's going to roll insight on that. Give me a persuasion roll.
Go ahead. All right. My persuasion is not good.
Chests.
Yeah, chests. Got bit by one. Wasn't fun.
Explain.
We met a clone of Merlin, I guess it was. He was like a clay doll that had a couple of spells, but he helped us escape some of the holy men that were after us, and we ended up going to a tower. There were some chests in there, and we read one that said something about if it's opened, Ragnarok will be released, and we are trying to stop that from happening.
What do you have in this world that is yours?
My life, my friends.
Do you want to keep them?
Well, obviously, that's why we're trying to stop this.
Then begin telling me the truth.
But it is the truth. I left my home because they're going to tear it down, and then I got roped into this journey. I've met the Valkyries. It's been wild.
How is it that you have managed to find your way into the place of Ragnarok's release when you had no access to it? The only way that you could have been there is to have had an access key of one of the protectors. Did you take it from their body when you killed them?
I didn't kill any of the protectors. I'm trying to find out who killed the protectors.
There was no key found on Sir Curly's body. It had been taken.
That's probably because one of my friends took it thinking that it was just a sigil to prove that he was who he said he was, an official. We didn't know what it did.
But stealing from a corpse is perfectly normal to you.
I didn't steal it.
This conversation is over. Guards will be watching your cells at all times. There is an anti-magic effect in place on this jail. If your friends wish for their freedom to be at any point in their future, they should hand themselves in as well, so that we can question all of you together. Otherwise, if they do not appear, then you three will be sent to the Red Wall jails in Central, and you will not escape from there, nor will you from here. We will keep guards on you posted at all times of day, and eventually you will either submit and give us the truth, or you will be taken to the central jails. I will let you decide which. If you tell me the truth, that this is something you are trying to prevent, then it only works in your favor to get your friends here sooner.
Well, they'll be back when they're done talking to Merlin.
He turns and walks behind the door. Turns around to face you. Grabs hold of the knocker on the door and brings it to. Slowly closes it. Locks the door. And then calls out to Julius and Orana, who both are freed as he unlocks the door for each of them. And they head back out of your cells. They're now stood in the corridor together. And that is the end of our session.
Oh,
Well,
you
that
guys
was
better
a...
hurry up and
Did
get us
you-
out of here.
That was a lot. That was a lot that we just did today. Jesus Christ. You got out of a fight that you were running away from. You then managed to find your way to Penny in the wilds and talk to her. Then you got here, found Merlin's obelisk, and also the person who'd been looking for you, who just happened to be in the city. You've then handed yourselves in, made your way to Merlin's tower, and been questioned by Ox. That's quite a lot. I'd say that's quite a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Also realised the impacts of the consequences of whispering into a guy's head that he needs to find a different tabaxi. It was a lot of fun redesigning them though. It was a lot of fun. I've really enjoyed making them better, making them more interesting. Just again for anybody who hasn't seen them, I'll just show you the character artwork again.
Yeah.
So this is Orana, a Sphinx cat tabaxi, very scrawny, covered in tattoos. Has long dark fingernails. You can't really see them up against the dark so much because it's a very dark background, but they have big, long, curved, like cat claws. Their right ear is ripped off, but both their ears are very upright. They have very wrinkled skin, quite loose. They've got like a scarred mouth from, it looks like a burn scar. And they have this big glass orb that they carry around with them. And a mask that's bolted to their face. They've got that milky look on their right eye of, like cataracts, like like blind, essentially. And their left eye is entirely covered. but you can see like peeking out from it what looks to be like a scar going over the eye itself. So that's Orana. Used to be a different character. It actually was an NPC that I had planned for my first campaign, and none of the players ever went to that part of the city, so it never got used. So I wanted to bring them back, and I only had an AI thing for it, so I wanted to redesign it with my own artwork. And then this is Julius.
The naked man.
The once naked guy who heard Ruby's voice in his head and decided that it must be the voice of the divine and he must be the chosen one, and so that he should go and find a life of worship and do so. And somehow along the way, he's lost an arm, but he's got runes on him and he looks to be kind of like a paladin. But yeah, he's this is Julius. And once more, Ox, who I've not really redone the character artwork for. This is just the quick sketch that I did before the day that we had to use it. But this is Ox, who has a big, thick, like woolen robe and cape, and everything looks very like it looks like animal hides. It's all made from animal hides. He's got a big, long beard, long trailing mustache.
Like Santa.
Very old man. And has like a
Santa.
He looks like he would give good hugs too.
Oh yeah. I mean, if nothing else, then the wall itself would probably do that. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So yeah, those are your arts, those are your guys. Julius I did earlier today, Orana I did yesterday, Ox I did God knows when. That was weeks and probably months ago.
I'd be allergic to his hugs if that's wool.
Yeah, probably.
Oh no.
Yeah,
well,
I'm allergic to wool.
Well, here's a quick recap of your situation. Big Red is dead. Sir Curly is dead. Giselle Brie is dead. You don't know who the fourth person is, but if they die, then the gloves are off and Ragnarok can occur. At the moment, you only know that there are the hidden few who are going after these people and killing them, and you don't know what's going to happen or when, but you do know that half of you are locked up and the other half of you are seeking Merlin's advice. You've managed to make it into the tower. I've yet to tell you what you've seen in there, but you are at Merlin's place. And the other three are in a jail cell without your weapons. Although Ruby's got fists, you know, but handcuffs and all that. So yeah, you're all cuffed. You've lost your weapons and your spellcasting focuses. So that will mean that you can't cast any spells that have material components. Unless you find the material components on the ground and use those. So that's where we're at the moment. Time is of the essence, it seems. You've got to find somebody, you've got to escape jail, you've got to try and stop Ragnarok from occurring, and you've got to get the team reunited. What do you feel about this?
Start looking for spoons and start digging.
Probably, yeah.
So can't you still have like frogs? You can just like splash acid on our buildings.
Oh yeah, I can just melt the wall.
You can just melt.
And everybody inside of it. Great job.
Yeah.
Thank you everybody for being here. I know that we had some technical difficulties today, and I think we probably had some cerebral difficulties as well, because we're all a bit burnt out by life at the moment, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Me definitely.
Oh yeah.
But we are going to go and pay our lovely friend Tats a visit, because Tats is, of course, on their subathon right now, and we want to support Tats, and so Tats, you're going to raid yourself.
What does it mean to raid oneself?
It's like an Ouroboros. It's like the self-eating snake, you know? Real quick, I know that I've skimmed over it, but everybody's got things that they would like to promote. Tats obviously has the subathon. Please go, show your support, enjoy whatever game time that you can. Mars has got a subathon coming up at the start of December, which is going to be
1st?
a paired affiliate anniversary as well. So please remember to go and support Mars on December 1st. I am still doing my art projects, and I'm going to start putting them on my YouTube soon as well, because I normally only post my D&D stuff, but actually a lot of my university projects get some good attention as well. And I've just got my new sketchbook coming through in the mail today, so I'm going to start doing my research for my newest project, which hopefully I should be able to show you soon. Brian, Shen, got anything quick? We've got like 10 seconds.
I would do my Instagram again, and I promise I'll put something up tomorrow afternoon.
Yes.
Shen, you can post that in my chat too if you would like.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know how to do that.
We've got raid message number 1 if you're following, raid message number 2 if you're subbed. We're going to raid now. Remember to be good to yourself, and if you can't do that, then at least have fun. Goodbye!
Bye-bye.
Bye!